Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be giving you the review of Ready to Love Season 4 Reunion Part 2. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more of my videos, and hit the like button if you enjoyed this type of content. And let's go ahead and get into this video. So the episode starts off where the last one ended, and we want to know, Kyra, do you see it for AJ? And just like I've been saying this entire season, she does not. She says that she thinks that they will be better off as friends, and if he wants to pursue her, then he now knows what to do. But she feels like there's a disconnect and it's just not going to work. So why you strung him along this entire season and strung us along this entire season, I will not understand. Side note, y'all saw Kyra makes a little cameo in Love and Marriage Huntsville. Y'all know I do reviews about that as well. Cannot wait till that starts back up, honey, because Kyra be tittying everywhere she go, don't she? All right, moving on. The next package was about Troy and his signature creepy move, honey. Troy was out here offering trips and kisses to any and every castmate that would take them. So Tommy does a quick little poll across the room and asks how many trips were offered, and there were three trips offered. I think it was Alexis, Amber, and Vernisha, random, and then it was also asked how many women did he kiss on the cheek, and it was 5 women total. So Troy was out here just, laying it low and spreading it wide for the short amount of time he was on this show. That's why I was so happy for him to go, because he was not ready to love. He just was not. And so I think Tommy asked him, like, had you learned anything from this? Would you do anything different? He ain't gonna do nothing different. No, he ain't learned nothing from this. Besides, don't be dealing with people that talk to each other. Make sure that when I'm talking to random women that they don't know each other, they don't hang in the same social circles, they ain't in the same vicinity, because he gonna still do his little creepy signature move and think that that's cute. He tried to clean it up after Amber called him out and say that he just sees it as like a greeting, but baby, that wasn't a greeting. You weren't greeting these women. You were damn near ogling these women, okay? Let's just call a thing a thing. He gives off major creep vibes, and it's disgusting to see, to be honest. We also got a little segment with Andrea, and it was about her cat catastrophe. So apparently during this season, her cat ran away, and she was very affected by it. I mean, I get it. My dogs run away every week. But I get it, She was affected by it. She felt the way, and it was just interesting that she confided in Paw Paw, I believe it was, instead of the guy who she was the most connected with. Nothing much I really want to talk about there. Just okay. She got her cat back, yay. Then we get into Jason and Kyra's package. Okay, so this is some more tea that we've been waiting on. I don't know why y'all sit up here and sprinkle this other little stuff like Andrea's cat. We weren't invested in Andrea enough. Get to Jason and Kyra. So while we're in their package and seeing how their love affair went from their great highs and connecting over, depression and the depth of relationships to the lows of them not being able to come together, we saw a never before seen discussion where Kyra really opened up about her battle with depression during the Rona and how her friends were letting her know that she was not okay. And I completely understand that. This past year has been hard on a lot of people. I myself even suffered with a little bit of depression, so I completely understand, and I thought it was great that they were able to talk about it, and that was something that they kind of bonded over. And Kyra let it be known that it wasn't easy for her to be that vulnerable with Jason and to like let him in and to kind of really express her emotions in that way. But Jason felt like he wasn't getting a clear understanding from Kyra. He wasn't, he didn't know where he stood. So it got really heated, okay, on that stage at this point. It got really heated because Kyra's still hurt. And you could see that she's still hurt in the way that she was responding to him. And she made a comment and said that Jason had already made his decision, but she had not. And I don't think that that was necessarily true, because the vitriol that she has behind discussing this topic with Jason lets me know that she really was choosing him. I mean, she had been choosing him the entire time. So she really did choose him. It's just she didn't want to, I feel like she didn't want to put her heart out there for it to get crushed. So the easiest thing to do is for me to just act like I don't know what I want, even though I know what I want. But I'd rather act like I don't know what I want, and so that I don't get hurt. But then in the end, you still get hurt. And Jason just at the end, he felt like they were talking in circles. He was over it. He was glad that he didn't pick her and that he ended up with Liz, and they called the rap on it. And Liz, she gonna be by her man. She gonna stand beside him. She was like, I'm just glad that you got everything off of your chest, and we can move forward now. It is what it is. Kyra played herself though. In the end, Kyra played herself. I really do believe that. Next, we get to David and Stacy's package. And y'all remember that this little scene at the Pilates studio caused a whole lot of mess within the cast. David wanted to know about, Stacy's passwords. Stacy saw that as a red flag. So if you were watching like I was watching and watching people's reviews and things like that, it was very much so torn and mixed on people's opinions. Some people agreed with Stacy that this was a major red flag. Some people agreed with David. I agreed with David when I watched this episode. I felt like, that should not be a deal breaker. If your spouse has your passwords, it should not be that big of a deal. Tommy did end up taking a poll around the room and asked, would that be a problem for y'all if your spouse, and they made it a distinction to say spouse, not boyfriend, but husband and or wife had your passwords, and 8 of the people said that they didn't mind sharing it with their spouse. And that was where I was coming from. And David said that that is where he was coming from with his question overall. He says that he wasn't talking about, with a girlfriend. He was talking about with the wife in the marriage, with the spouse. And that was a breakdown in communication between him and Stacy. And I think that could have been true, but also I just don't like David anymore. Even though I agreed with him in that moment, his other red flags later on began to show themselves, and so now I can't unsee it. So just the way that he was interacting with Stacy during this segment, it rubbed me the wrong way. Tommy asked if this misunderstanding or miscommunication had not happened, would things have possibly went differently with Stacy? Stacy said possibly. David said no. I don't think it could have, and I don't think it would have went any differently either. I don't think that David would have found his match here with this set of ladies. I really truly don't. And while we're talking about David, let's go ahead and just jump on into the part of the show where they talked about Liz and David. Okay, so we see Liz's package, and we see how she started off really feeling David. She said that David had her heart, and then as time went on, she got close to Jason, and David got a little bit jealous. And then we saw the infamous elimination date where David basically self-eliminated. And Tommy calls out David because he says it really did seem like a let me quit before I get fired type of thing. Now, David went on to kind of deflect and say no, it wasn't like that. What y'all don't know is what y'all didn't see is the. I don't remember the hoopla that he said, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what it was, David. It was you trying to control that situation, trying to control how you left the show. And like Tommy said, you took two other women on dates. You took Stacy and Andrea on their dates where they were told they were not ready to love. But when it came your turn, you wanted to control it. That's not how any of this works. Tommy made it clear that if you wanted to self-eliminate, ain't nobody leaving the show without talking to me first. Tommy was not here for it. I was here for Tommy not being here for it. Okay. And then they got on the conversation about the breakdown between him and Liz, and where she felt embarrassed, like she had to explain herself because he asked her flat out in front of his friends off camera if he had went on a date, if she had went on another date with Jason and had kissed him. Now, David claims that did not happen. Liz says that it did happen. Who do y'all believe? Comment that down in the comment section. Who do you believe? I believe Liz. I wholeheartedly believe he sat there and he asked her if she had kissed Jason because he was so bothered by it. You know what I'm saying? And that would have turned me off too if I were Liz. And clearly that made a big impact on her. And at the end of it, David apologized, and he came over there to try to give Liz a hug. Liz gave him a good church hug, like Tommy said. She, and then David, kind of tried to give her a little kiss on the cheek. She was like, all right. She wasn't here for none of that. She did, like, you could tell she ain't want nothing to do with David. She ain't want to touch him. She ain't want to hug him. She was just being polite. And David later on says that he is still looking for marriage. I don't think that you should be looking for marriage right now, David. I think you should be looking for a therapist. Work on self. Get self together. One more side note. Y'all know I'll always have a side note, baby. Another side note. Liz looked so pretty to me. Like, her makeup to me was so just beautiful. It was beautifully done. I need to know who her makeup artist was for that day, because I think the lip was perfect, the eyes were perfect. She looked like she was glowing. Part of that glow could have been her happiness with Jason. We see her and Jason's relationship blossom. They have their package. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, to be honest with you. They're still together. They've met each other's families. They are happy together. They asked about, how are they connecting, since, Liz has her boundaries and we know her boundaries are not having sex. And Liz says that we are still intimate with each other. And so then some people are looking crazy like, and she just, she made it clear, we can hug, we can kiss, we can, still be intimate with each other while respecting each other's boundaries. And Jason is very much so supportive of that, and she says he won't let it go too far, which I'm actually surprised about. I did not expect Jason to be so supportive of these boundaries. I was expecting him to kind of push against them a little bit, but I love to see it. I also want us to normalize not having to have sex to have intimacy, because the deepest intimacy for some people happens without sex, As a matter of fact, I think that it is more deep to have that type of bond with someone without sex. So just think about how strong their relationship will be if one day they actually make it to that level. They say that, even though communication can be hard, their communication is amazing. And that is a lot of times what messes up relationships, because you too busy having sex, you're not communicating. Okay? So I do love to see that they are happy and that their relationship is flourishing. But now, let's talk about a relationship that is not flourishing, and that is Vernisha and Joel, okay? I'm sad to see that this has exploded to the point in which it exploded to. And I'm going to start off by saying, number one, that this was a lot of he say, she say. There's three sides to every story. His side, her side, and the truth. And the truth normally is somewhere in between. And we ain't got the in between. But I'm going to give y'all what they gave us. And then I want y'all to give me y'all's opinion on it. What y'all gathered down in the comment section. So, first of all, Vernisha baby is hurt. Okay, Vernisha came out there. She had them arms crossed. She had that leg crossed. She wasn't even looking at him. So we already knew this wasn't gonna be good. So Tommy, they showed the package. All right, great, all love. All right. And Tommy calls it out. He said, "Baby, this body language. This body language is telling a different story from this package up here." Tommy say, "Now, out of all of the couples, I expected to see y'all riding into the sunset. I was expecting for this to be like a happily ever after type of story. What happened?" And Renisha say, "Honey, after 2 weeks after the cameras wrapped, Joel completely changed." She said he completely changed and they were moving on two different paces. Let him tell it. She said that he say that she was moving too fast. Let her tell it. They were moving the same speed. While they were filming, she said they would come to set together. They eat breakfast together. He'd wait on her after set. They spent dang near every day together. And as soon as filming stopped, that stopped, and so did the intimacy. And I can understand. Me and my husband were having a debate about it because he was like, "Well, it's different when you are at work or when you're working with someone and you have to be in their space a lot. So once you don't have to be in their space, things go back to real life." And I disagree because a lot of this stuff that she's saying was going on, we didn't even see. It wasn't like it was on camera. It wasn't like it was in front of us. This is stuff. If you were taking her to breakfast before, y'all were having breakfasts or dinners and things like that before and the cameras weren't there, what would be the difference now? But we said it, or I said it, should I say, a couple weeks ago. Y'all go back in the videos and watch it and check it. But I said that she definitely was more into him than he was to her. And so possibly, this is just me pontificating. Possibly once the show ended, he realized that, okay, I don't have to be this foot on the gas because there's not as much pressure to make it to the end. I can kind of move at the pace that I would normally move. And that could be jarring when you have been consistently seeing someone, consistently talking to someone. And we all know that people make time for what they deem is important. If you have a guy that's pursuing you and he really wants to be with you and he really likes you, he makes time for you. He goes out of his way to make time for you. Now, Joel says that, he's just been friendly. He's gotten everybody's numbers, all these babies' numbers, and, he's always been friendly with everyone. And he thinks that was an issue with Vernisha, and he believes that she was jealous because at some point she confronted him about Stacy. Whoa. Where did Stacy come from? Stacy sitting up there looking with the pluck face like, I don't know how I got into their relationship. I ain't got nothing to do with this. So apparently there was some type of rumor that Joel and Stacy had been canoodling and that Joel told Stacy that he was single. And Stacy was just trying to see if he was attached or not attached. Now, Vernisha said that she heard this from somebody in the cast. We never found out who this somebody was. Who y'all think this somebody was? Slick, I kind of think this somebody was Amber. This is just me. This is just me saying it. But y'all tell me who y'all think this somebody was. And so apparently this friendship with Joel and Stacy caused some type of breakdown to where now Vernisha is showing off the fact that she's jealous, because I do believe Vernisha's jealous. What do y'all think? She's showing off, her possessiveness over him, but also Joel is pulling back because Joel is sitting here telling Stacy or whomever, and he does admit this, that he does not have a girlfriend. But when y'all ended this show, the point of ending this show was ending in a committed relationship. That means that is your girlfriend. Ain't that what that means? That means y'all exclusively dating? That y'all gonna continue to have a committed relationship and work this thing out? What is that if not a girlfriend? So I think Joel, while Vernisha may have been jealous, while Vernisha may have been jealous, she really may have. I think Joel was sending mixed signals and not being clear that he still wanted to date different people, or still test the waters. And Vernisha said that was her issue, because had he just said that from the beginning, she know how to move. She could be dating her some other people too, but that's not how it was presented to her. I think Joel was definitely playing both sides of the fence. For sure, I can understand why Vernisha was upset. Now, she was 38 hot over here on this stage, because I feel like she's feels like she's being gaslit in this moment. She feels like, what the issue was and why we broken down, and now you're gonna sit up here and try to make me seem like I was just seeing things, like I'm just out here overreacting. Stacy actually said, Stacy spoke up at some point in there and said that she wasn't trying to get with Joelle, and that Vernisha act really ugly to her or something. I don't know. So it's not, it ain't working. Period. They're not together. Paw tried to comfort Vernisha at the end of the segment and say, "Oh, y'all were a beautiful couple. I really liked y'all together." This wasn't going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not. Because they're not on the same page. If she's trying to move forward, if she says it, and there's nothing wrong with them, like, not being on the same page. Let me say that. There's nothing wrong with them wanting to move at different speeds. But y'all have to come to the middle. Okay, maybe he felt like things were going a bit faster than they normally would because of just the atmosphere of the show. Maybe we should slow it down a little bit and get to know each other a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to say that. You can't be going around and telling other people that you don't have a girlfriend and all of this kind of stuff. Y'all have to be able to communicate, and that has been something that has been an issue, because when they get to communicating about something that's serious, about a hard topic of whatever sort it is, that's when there's a breakdown between them. So it's not going to work because y'all cannot talk to each other. The one thing that I will say that I was on Joel's side with was when he said that Vernisha wanted, she was moving fast. She wanted to start spending the night at his house, and he was not okay with that as of yet. I can agree with him. He has daughters, he has children, she has children, and it could be a lot to start spending the night with this person, because where are your kids gonna be? Even if your kids don't come, you're waking up with my kids. My kids have never seen another woman in the house since my wife. Things like that, I can completely understand. I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for the speed in which he wanted to move. I just think that they did not communicate well, and Joel was probably sending mixed signals. He seems like that type to me. There was also some other little something where Amber said Amber reached out to him because his mom or mother-in-law passed, and so she, invited him to go to dinner if he needed to talk or something. And Vernisha said that she would be upset if they went on a dinner by themselves. I don't know. Something about that is weird, and we still didn't quite dig into all of that. But I think it just kind of boils down to Vernisha being a little bit jealous. Y'all tell me what you think down below. Then at the end, they go around the room, ask everybody what they're doing, if they're still ready to love, how they, the typical things. I'm not going to go through that. Everybody's good. Everybody still wants love. Yay. That's the end of the reunion part 2. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about this reunion, about this season overall, about our final 2 couples, which ended up being Amber and Chris, and Joelle and Liz. As far as I know, they are still going strong. I actually just saw a picture last night of Vernisha doing something, and Amber and Chris were hooked up in the pictures. And then if you look on social media, Joelle and Liz are still very much together. So they're still working it out. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this season. At least they did get some successful couples. I enjoyed reviewing it. I hope y'all enjoyed hearing my perspective on it. I do other reviews, so if you're here just because of Ready to Love, feel free to check out some of my other reviews. If you do watch some of my other reviews, continue to support, like, comment, share it out to your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat, whatever social media site you use. Don't forget to subscribe with that notification bell on. And I am going to see y'all in the next video. Peace.